Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Delaware Orthopedic Specialists. Spring has officially sprung, and you know what that means. All the weekend warriors dusting off their gear and trying way too hard to relive the glory days, and you know what's going to happen. Hip, ankle, foot, leg, knee, shoulder, injuries. Where else should you go other than Delaware Orthopedic Specialists? I don't know. DOS has specialists trained in each and every part of the body, so you're getting a provider specifically assigned to that part of the body. Why would you trust anyone other than a specialist? The only fellowship-trained surgery center in the state of Delaware makes it a no-brainer. Head on over to delortho.com or give them a call at 302-655-9494. I'm telling you, my family's gone there. My friends have gone there. Check out their Google reviews. They are phenomenal. DOS. Don't trust anyone other than a specialist.
Welcome to Talkin 215, your go-to podcast for everything you need to know about Philly sports. Whether you bleed green, trust the process, fly with the Flyers, or fight with the Fightins, this is the place where we break down Broad Street. Jake, Sean, and Joey deep dive into the heart of Philly sports culture, breaking down games, roster moves, and sharing the stories that make the 215 truly legendary. So grab a cheesesteak, settle in, and let's get to Talkin 215. Now here's your host, Jake Biasado.
What's going on, everybody? Talking 215 back. We've got the whole gambit of guests. We got the coach. We got Papa Sean, Philly Dogs, and then the most famous doc in the Delco area, Dr. Joseph, Thoracic Outlet Syndrome Mesa.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing good.
I feel perfectly fine. We get the Phils whipping up on the Mariners, so that's always good.
Yeah, Schwarber taking over the MLB lead of home runs, or
NL, I think.
No,
NL
NL.
lead. Yeah, NL lead.
He's homered in 15 straight series.
That's
that good?
insane. I think it is.
15
That
series
feels good.
in a
That
row
feels
he's
good.
homered.
Well,
Yeah.
you saw the stat that I texted you guys the other day. I mean,
Oh.
they're live by the sword, die by the sword. I mean, Schwarber in games that he home runs, I think they're like have 10 losses in games that he has a home run in, and obviously you know how many home runs he's had. And then in games that he doesn't home run in, they're under 500.
Yeah, that's
One
yeah,
play.
they're 40 and 43 when he doesn't.
It's the definition of a most valuable player, right? Like that is
Well,
quite literally who should
I
get
don't know how much of a major fact it is that when teams score more runs that they win, or they tend to win. But
well.
Yeah, I mean,
That's how the game works, Sean. Newsflash.
I'm just saying, you know, there's a number of teams that shouldn't have to rely on one player hitting home runs to win. But the Phillies seem to be one of them. I mean, Bryce Harper, two dingers, two bombs last night. 440 plus foot, just no doubters right off the bat. You love to see that.
Is this the top three that we're going to see playoff time? Is it going to be in that order? Is it going to be Trey, Schwarber, Bryce? Do you guys think that's the best three in a row?
oh, absolutely. They're
I mean, in
hitting
that
off
order.
the
In that
ball,
order, like
man.
would you move them and would you switch Bryce and Schwarber? I don't know.
I mean, you could. They're interchangeable, but Trey's just getting on base every single time, it feels like. I don't know what his OBP is over the last, month or so, but the guy's just on a tear. He's just slapping singles left and right. So, I mean, he's coming home. either you have Schwarber afterwards or Harper right afterwards. It doesn't matter, right? He's coming home. He's crossing home plate.
Yeah, I think I guess my biggest question is, so those three in any order, right? We're comfortable with that. Then who's probably the most important, right? Because if you got your big three there, who's cleanup? Who best cleanup? Is it Bohm? Is it JT? And saying that statement a month ago, you know, you would have thought everybody was crazy if those were the two names.
Yeah, I think at this point, I think it's a no-brainer that JT is. I mean, since the beginning of May, he's hitting like 330. He's doing a good job of hitting the ball into the gap, just in the outfield. I do love that Schwarber is batting second behind Trey. It feels like it reminds me of, if you guys watched when you were younger, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? What was the one where you had to say bank after every single time in order to get the money? With the real sassy lady that was on it.
Oh,
I have no idea.
Somebody is listening and is like screaming at the phone.
She had the short hair and the glasses.
What
Yes.
is Jeopardy?
Okay. It feels like you're just hitting bank whenever you get a right answer, and you're throwing the $500 right in the bank. You're not going to make the 25 grand or whatever it was, the max, but it feels like you're able to get that run in whenever Schwarber comes up to the plate behind Trey. Or at the very least, Trey's getting into scoring position.
Was it whammy or press your luck?
No.
No.
I know. I
that was 50 years
know.
ago, Chris.
I Googled it.
I immediately thought that you were thinking of press your luck when I was like, no whammies, stop. But I mean, the randomity of this conversation right now is just getting
There it is.
Different things you could have talked about it's just Money in the Bank, but you go 1990s game show with a sassy host with
millennia. All right.
What was it called?
Weakest Link.
Weakest Link.
Oh, yes. Weakest Link.
Yeah, that was not. I've seen that show, and that was not anywhere close.
Saying bank is not like the highlight of that show. Saying you are the weakest link is the highlight of that show.
And you yell bank because you didn't want to be the guy that got it wrong. You didn't want to be the guy strike out. So Trey Turner gets on base, and Schwarber just sends his ass home. He just hits bank. All right, we're going to do one. We're driving one run in right away, guaranteed. Okay.
I feel like
I guess while we're on that subject. I guess while we're on that subject, Nick Castellanos, you are the weakest link. Can we talk about Casty over the past 2 months? I mean, what in the world is going on with this guy?
He's been hot last 2 games, which is not great, right? But he was 1 for 35 at one point, I think the broadcast said, 1 for his last 35. And you see the at-bats are if I say what is a typical Casty at bat and I roll my eyes, I think everyone here knows that bat is flailing out over trying to hit a slider that's a foot off the plate, just trying to get a piece of it. So even if he's not striking out, it's like the weakest rollover grounder or pop-up. So I'm telling you, he's either swinging at the first pitch, or if he doesn't hit it on the first pitch, he's chasing, and we all know the pitch. It's so weird, man.
Yeah, I just don't understand how there's no real change. He's just, if he's able to hit it on the first pitch, he's hot, and he'll go on a couple of weeks, couple of months tear where you're like, damn, Nick Castellanos, that's the guy we signed. And if it just isn't working like that, then he's not. There really isn't any like, oh, all right, he's slumping, so now we're seeing him take some more pitches, working some at bats, choking up on the bat, taking a 2-strike approach, just no step or anything like that. No, it's the same approach every single time. It's just a matter of, is it going to work this time or not? And hopefully, like you said, he's got 4 hits in the past 2 games. Hopefully that'll continue to develop and he'll be able to get out of this slump. But it's tough to see because, I mean, last postseason, or 2 postseasons ago, I mean, he set a series record for the amount of home runs hit in one series. So this is a guy that really can completely alter games. Oh, off the wall. Sorry, I was just watching the game here. And you just need him to get to be that player again because, like we said, he was hitting in like the 7 hole or something, and we talked about, do we need to move him? Do we need to not? And when he was just hitting the ball so incredibly well, we were like, well, no, you leave him there because there's no point in this lineup where the Phillies or where the opposing pitcher can really take a breath. And obviously they put up 1 million runs last game, and that was great, and the game before. And so that's all good and wonderful. But there are plenty of times this lineup where you can be like, all right, we didn't get something through the first 5 batters. We may not see a run scored until it comes back up to Trey Turner. And we just need to see a little bit more consistency from the Phil's bats.
Well, at Casty, Jake, what you were talking about, Sean had a tweet I saw that said everybody was talking about how bad Casty was, but Sean was like, wait a second. He hasn't drawn a walk in a month? Like, he hasn't walked – Sean, was that something –
just don't even swing. Just like at this point, you have a better chance of getting on base if you just stare at however many pitches it takes. Maybe you get 4 balls. Maybe you're up against one of these guys that have been struggling lately. And we know the Phillies have faced a couple guys for the last week or so that just cannot find the zone. Just stand there. Right? Use it as some time to just clear your head or something. I don't know. He's been awful.
But not even taking a walk in a span of like 38 at bats is also insane. Like, if you're struggling, especially.
Yeah, no, I mean, it falls back on coaching and Kevin Long. We've talked about it so many times. Like, you just see way too many big value bats on this team make zero adjustments and just have these stretches where they're abysmal, and then something clicks because they are professional baseball players and they are too good to be bad all the time. And they right the ship and all, but there's way too many times where these all-star caliber MVP level hitters just go on these terrible runs where nothing changed. No, yeah.
Is anybody going to chime in there?
Yeah.
I agree.
Nick Castellanos on. I'm trying to find his last walk.
By the way, one of the funny things about always doing this podcast when a Phillies game is on, Jake, you were in the middle of a point. You said, "Oh, it's off the wall," and I'm looking up at my TV down here in Florida, and I'm like, "Oh, he must have been watching a replay or something like that from the second inning." And then 30 seconds later, I see on mine, "Oh, off the wall." I'm like, "Good Lord, how far am I behind?"
Seriously, Nick Castellanos' past 30 games. In Nick Castellanos' past 30 games, he has 3 walks. 3 walks in the last 30 games.
And not 30 at bats, in 30 games.
30 games. Last 30 games, he has 3 walks.
So that's what, average 120 at bats? He has 3 walks.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like most of the time he had, probably average 4 at bats per game. He had a couple with 5, a couple with 3, and then I think 1 game with 2. So probably about 120 to 124 at bats. He has 3 walks.
So he's at like a 2% walk rate.
Excuse me, 119 at bats.
Yeah, so 120. Yeah, right on. Yeah. That's crazy to me, man. Like, even when guys are struggling, they'll walk because they're like, I can't hit this thing, so I'm not going to chase. So unless he lobs a fastball down the middle, I'm going to see if I can earn a walk. I know Rhys Hoskins used to always get walks, especially was in a cold streak. I was like, all right, at least he got on base. You know what I'm saying? He's drawing a walk. He's taking 8 pitches at a count. He's not getting on with a hit.
I mean, Hal Schwarber, he'd be hitting 220 with a 380 on base percentage.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like, even when his average sucked, he had an above average on base percentage because he'd work crazy at bats and he has such a great eye. No, it's wild. Doc, we teased at the beginning of the episode. You're very famous right now. All people in the Delco area are just, they loved the interview. They hated what you had to say. And we're all hoping that you are, in fact, wrong. But with the news coming out that he had, it was a thrombolysis. What was the procedure that he had? Thrombectomy. He had a thrombectomy. They're saying any further treatment and details on return will come later. Does that change anything with your, suspicion of thoracic outlet syndrome, or is that kind of exactly the timeline that you'd expect that to occur?
No, I think part 1 is you got to get rid of the problem, which is the clot. But number 2 is you got to get rid of what caused the clot in the first place. So the real question remains, is this something that he is going to require having the other surgery, the rib resection, or is it something they're going to initially try to treat conservatively with rest, therapy, etc.? It's like you got rid of the symptom, but you didn't get rid of the disease. And I think that's the problem. You have to see where he goes. And I think this had to be done. There's always a risk. Everybody talks about clots breaking off and cause this stuff. So getting rid of the clot obviously has the priority. And now I think they're going to have time to say, okay, let's really take a look at this and see what's happening here and decide what's the best thing for Zach and what's the best thing for his health and his future.
Now, Doc, we've heard a lot of people chime in being like, oh, how crazy dangerous it was. He went on planes and everything. Is any clot dangerous on a plane, or is that clot specifically very dangerous, or what were the risks?
They all have potentials, but historically the bigger ones are the ones that are in the lower extremity and above the knee. So a lot of times if you look at data in terms of, we'll say people with hip fractures, close to 90% of people with hip fractures will develop a clot. The question is a dangerous one or not? And in the leg, it has to be above the knee. Upper extremity clots are a lot different. They're far less common, but they still have the potential to break off and go anywhere. So just the fact that it's there runs that risk. And even if the risk is 1 or 2%, and you have the ability to get that clot out, you should, and I think that's what they did. They're like, hey, the risk isn't as high as it is in the lower extremity, but we still have to treat the clot and get rid of it. And I think now it's a question of where we go from here. And the other question is, he had a clot, and in theory, you got to put him on anticoagulants, and I believe they're banned in Major League Baseball. So I don't think he can if you say, oh, he's not going to have surgery, we're going to treat him medically, he may still be out of the game because he can't be pitching on anticoagulants.
Yeah.
Well, Doc, they're not going to piss test him to the offseason, hopefully, so we can.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But, that's definitely something that you have to consider. Even if it's not surgical, it still means he may miss a significant amount of time.
Is this the same thing that Fultz had?
No, Fultz had a little bit different. First of all, he had what we call scapular dyskinesia, which means the scapula wasn't working right. And if the scapula isn't working right, it can pinch the nerve. So there's different kinds of thoracic outlet syndrome. At one point, they were throwing out thoracic outlet syndrome, but in his case, it was nerve. So it wasn't pinching. He didn't have a clot. It wasn't vascular. It was neurologic, which is by far the most common. So his problem was he had issues with his muscles, and that scapula was not moving right. And then I actually spoke to the doctor who treated him in Lexington, Kentucky, and he said that initially that's what he thought. It was scapular dyskinesia, which means the scapula isn't working right. He didn't give him the diagnosis of thoracic outlet syndrome. I think that somebody else threw that out there. And I think initially he did have an element of some muscular imbalance in his scapula, but then I think it turned a little mental. So it wasn't all,
a little.
Yeah. He had the basketball yip. And I think it started there, and then it just progressed. But this is a far different thing. This is vascular, not neurologic. But the umbrella is thoracic outlet syndrome. He had a different kind of it, if you believe he had it at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you look at it, I did some research on it after you spoke. It's less than 4% of all thoracic outlet syndromes are a venous clot forming thoracic outlet syndrome, and really only 1 to 2% of the American population will ever have thoracic outlet syndrome to begin with. So already an extremely rare disease, and then a tiny subsection of that will actually get a clot from it. So I mean, for him to get it is crazy. But you spoke to the fact that these pitchers, these arm throwers, the mechanics and all, will tend to increase that number. So the people that are pitching in the MLB will already be a little bit predisposed to getting something like that. Now, Doc, the thrombectomy, does that in itself mean that it was surgically removed, or is there any chance that they were able to use some kind of thrombolytic to go in there and break the clot medicinally?
Well, sometimes I don't think it was medicinal. I think they had to physically remove it. Sometimes they can make a small incision and do it, and sometimes they go through the vein itself and kind of pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point you got to make a small incision. You got to get rid of it. I don't think it was a formal big operation. I think it was just a way to kind of get rid of that thrombus. And the vascular surgeons and the interventional radiologists do this. So it's not a huge procedure. I don't think he's going to have a long recovery from the surgery itself. I think it's just a question of the recoveries from the problem that caused the clot in the first place.
And now with him being on blood thinners, are they putting him on that due to the fact that they haven't yet fixed the cause of it? Or is there any time you have a thrombectomy, you're then just going on some kind of cycle of blood thinners for X amount of days?
I don't know if they did it for sure. If it's been documented he's on blood thinners, I just speculated that. Oftentimes, when you do that after a thrombus, because in the acute phase, to get the thrombus out, you irritate the tissues, and that may make you prone to reforming the clot. So I do think it's prudent to put them on blood thinners. The time length depends, and sometimes when it's the lower extremity, you can be on them for 6 months with a diagnostic clot. Sometimes people are on it for life, but I don't think that would be the case with him. But I do think short term he's going to be on it.
I mean, Doc, you said that with Fultz, it was mental as well with him. I think that we all kind of saw those side effects after watching another number 1 overall pick just kind of break our hearts there. But I think what's even more evident now is if you read some of the quotes by Trey Turner and Bryce Harper, they're acting like they're speaking as if Zack Wheeler died and they want to win the World Series for him. They're like, we keep Zack in our thoughts and prayers and all. And I'm like, man, like, do they know? That they got to know, right?
Well, I think they have an idea. I think there's a lot of speculation even on their part. I mean, I don't know how private Zack is with his medical health, but there's whispers. It's gossip. It's like anything else. I don't think it's the end. I mean, there have been players, and if you look at the literature, 80% of the players that get it return to their previous level of function. Pitchers, 80% of them come back. I mean, and like I said before, and then there's famous people that have had it. I mean, Josh Beckett had it, and his former teammate Harvey had it too. So there are pitchers that have had it. When we covered the Blue Rocks, which is the minor league team, but we go down at the time. It was a Royals. There was a Royals affiliate, and we would go spring training down to Arizona, and there were 2 guys rehabbing from this procedure in their system. Not necessarily major leaguers, but 2 baseball pitchers were rehabilitating from this problem. So it is element. It's very. I mean, this is the high risk group. Is professional pitchers. So you say 1% of the population, maybe 5% of pitchers get it. So it's a little bit higher. But I do think this is not. I think they're a little premature with the casket and all that. I think this is something that can be recoverable, and I do think there is a better than average chance that he'll return to playing. And the data shows that they actually pitch a little bit better after this is taken care of.
What other podcasts are you getting this on? What other podcast are you getting this type of information on? Yeah. I'm serious.
No, I mean,
I was live texting you guys when we did our 15-minute interview, and I'm like, God, holy shit, guys. Like, this sucks, but this is the most interesting interview I've been a part of. Like, you guys can't wait until I post this, but also at the same time, don't listen to it because you're going to want to fucking cry.
Yeah.
You gave him such a great applause in the text. He goes, P.S. This sucks. Everything's done.
The world is
right.
Yeah.
I was like, incredible interview that I'm editing here shortly. Listen to it. Oh, and by the way, it's the worst news you could ever imagine.
That's how you did it. We're like, oh, okay, I really want to listen to this now.
Yeah, Coach didn't even listen to it for like a day.
No, I was like, I'm not going to. I can't do it.
No, I didn't sleep tonight.
Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow. But I always look at the silver lining. And yeah, this season maybe he may not be able to return this season, but it doesn't mean his career's over. It doesn't mean he'll be a different pitcher when it's all said and done. The law of averages are in his favor. So that's what I look to, And like I said, they may say, we'll do the thrombectomy. We'll see how he does. We'll try to rehab him to see if he can make a comeback without surgery.
Yeah, I mean,
the other thing too, that's the other thing is like he has talked about his 2-year kind of window here. That's the only thing. I mean, obviously, all the insight you bring, Doc, is really interesting and terrible to hear. But that's the only thing that's in the back of my head is that 2027 thing that he put himself up against. That's the part that sucks.
Yeah, and I don't think that necessarily had to do with this diagnosis. I think he was just like, that's the end of my contract. Because people are like, did he know? Did he know? I don't think he did. I think he was just saying, this is the end of my contract, and I think I'm going to walk away.
Right.
Yeah, Doc, while we're on the subject of injuries and everything, Howie Roseman made a trade the other day for John Mechie. Immediate speculation from all the talking heads were, A.J. Brown's hamstring must be much more significant than we believe. I understand there's very limited information about it other than the fact that he's missing practice due to a hamstring strain. You see videos of him going out there, jogging, throwing a football, smiling, laughing, having a good time. If it was something of concern, wouldn't you not see him out there? Wouldn't they kind of tell him like, hey man, like take it easy, stay inside, or just be in your joggers on the sideline? Is the fact that he's out there palling around with the guys something that should give us comfort? Or is this something that we should worry about a la T. Higgins a couple of years ago, where it was just, when the hell is this guy ever going to come back? And he kept on missing games.
No, I think AJ's had a history of hamstring issues. And I think, when you get guys like we talked about before, real muscular guys, they put a strain on there and you switch from lifting a lot to getting back into running and sprinting, you can tweak it. I feel like I've watched him on the sidelines. I've watched him walk. He doesn't look like somebody that has a serious injury, but rather than risk him aggravating it in something that really doesn't matter that much, I think they're just stretching this out. These injury lists are super long, but I think a lot of it is just precautionary. And I don't think, I could be wrong, but I think this is just, hey, let's just let him get through the preseason and just not aggravate it during the preseason.
Yeah, the Eagles have historically been a very cautious team, at least under the Nick Sirianni era of preseason injuries and everything.
And I don't think necessarily this pickup means, oh, we need somebody else. I mean, it's good security, but I don't think it's a sign that, oh, AJ's not going to play or anything. It could just be more of an insurance policy just in case. But I don't think they're saying, hey, this guy's got an injury, and I don't think he's going to be ready for week 1.
Yeah, I mean, which after today, I mean, 2 guys went down, right? Johnny Wilson and Makuba, I think, also went down. I mean, play it safe at this point. Like, people dropping like flies out there. So,
I mean, it felt to me, because I think there was a stat that showed that the Eagles just traded with the Texans for like the 5th time in 2 years. So
it's insane.
This seemed almost like, hey, listen, I'll trade you CJ GJ for Kenyon Green, but you got to do me a solid later on, right? Like, you kind of like owe me a little bit of one here later on, and that was that once. The Texans came calling, said they needed a tight end, and he said, well, you're going to give me something a little better than this guy in return. So that's honestly, now that the dust is settled, that's been my kind of takeaway from all of it.
Fair. I mean, but then you're also looking at the fact that it's what? CJGJ for Mechie and Green. It was the trade, or did we throw anything else there? Or
we gave them the tight end.
CJGJ, Harrison Bryant for Mechie and Green. I mean, is that a fair haul? Who knows? But either way, he's on there. Other than you saying the fact that they're like, hey, we did you something, now help us out here. What do you think the reasoning behind getting John Mechie is? If it's not really, we're not overly concerned about AJ Brown. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith are garnering most of the wide receiver targets. Johnny Wilson, he did go down, but that happened after the trade, and he was looking relatively good in preseason heading into it. You had Dotson, who looked fine preseason game 1, looked good in the Super Bowl. I mean, what do you think Howie Roseman's really doing there, targeting a wide receiver that, for a wide receiver room that we're pretty comfortable with?
Well, you got a brand new guy calling the plays this year, right? Brand new offensive coordinator who probably came to the coach and said, I don't really care for these guys, right? We got 12 different kinds of wide receivers, and right now it feels like we're still putting a round peg into a square hole, right? I mean, they're always looking for more competition. They probably just say, just like they're shuffling guys around trying to figure out that second cornerback position, they're probably like, everybody's kind of okay, but nobody's really standing out for that wide receiver 3 spot. So let's see if this guy can help.
Yeah, I think that could be it. I just, part of me thinks maybe they're like, I know we have people behind, Dotson, Smitty, and AJ, but really, do we? Like, those are just names. Like, I know Johnny Wilson's, 6'6". I know Anaya Smith is a draft pick. I know everybody loves, his name's going to escape me. Cooper, yeah. I know everybody loves Cooper. And I do too, coincidentally. Terrace Marshall is a name. I think these are just names, and almost Paul Turner-esque. We fall in love with certain guys in training camp when really the Eagles are like, okay, we're one AJ injury away. We're not doing this because he is injured. We're one AJ injury away from being, I don't know. And with a new coordinator, like you guys were mentioning, I just think Howie never misses an opportunity to upgrade, even if it's wide receiver 4, give or take. So you just look at it like that. Howie never sleeps, basically.
Yeah. And it's based on history. What was their worst moment last year was Tampa Bay, when they had no receivers. So it's like, okay, I don't want to go through that again. So let's put some quality backups. So in case AJ and Devontae get hurt, God forbid, we have somebody we can put on the field that can be somewhat productive.
Yeah, I mean, Coach, we had talked on this podcast years ago, or what was it? We had said, man, if was it Devontae Smith?
Devontae Smith, yeah.
Down, we have the worst wide receiver room in all of football.
Absolutely.
And obviously we've improved since then. AJ Brown is better than Devontae Smith, and Devontae Smith is still damn good. So now you're relying on 2 people going down. But yeah, to your guys' point, like, if we had lost AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and I hate to even say those words, like, there's a lot to be said of like, what are we looking at there? Because we do still have Saquon Barkley. We do still have Jalen Hurts. We do still have an incredible offensive line. So I guess you guys have kind of talked me right into the fact that, you do need to have as much talent as you can, because we're not a team where if one guy goes down, we need to just burn the ship. We're a team where it's like, all right, one guy goes down. We still have the top unit in 3 other offensive categories. Like, we cannot just throw in the towel because we lost 2 wide receivers. You know, we lose Saquon. All right, we still have AJ. We still have Devontae. We still have the best offensive line. So, you know, hopefully we can rely on AJ Dillon, White Boy Will, going out there and carrying it. Jalen Hurts putting a little bit on his back and his legs. Like, we have so many different weapons. I mean, Tanner McKee starting quarterback on 16 different NFL teams.
Oh, he did?
He hurt his finger.
I think he could.
No. I was asking Doc that he got hurt. I didn't know that.
Yeah. He hurt his finger. Yeah.
Okay.
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Non-surgical.
I was going to say the same thing, Jake. Yeah.
Non-surgical throwing hand injury. Okay. Doc, what does that mean, a non-surgical? Like, can't you just say his finger's hurt?
Surgery.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but why do you need to specify that? Like,
it's just funny, the terminology. Like, it's like you say something, and it's funny even how it gets filtered out, because you could talk to the head coach and you say this is a meniscus tear, and he could come back with some gobbledygook, like, you know, Andy Reid was famous for that. You'd hear what he'd say and you'd be like, that's not what the injury is, but go for it, you know. So I think there's a lot of you know, just bullet points and stuff. And I think what people want to hear, like everybody wants to hear, is it's not an operation. So they throw the non-surgical out there first, so you know we're not talking about time off for an operation. I think that's why they throw it out there.
I was going to say, Jake, you were like doctor number 2, behind Doc, of course, earlier, where you said thrombolysis or something like that, and then you just asked what non-surgical means. So you went back down the list, unfortunately.
I was asking why they would feel like why they would need to specify that. Like, you can just say his finger hurts. You not got to be like, yeah, his finger hurts, but it doesn't require ice. Like,
but non-surgical calls off the dog. You know, it puts the fear away. You know, I think
that's true.
Right.
Yeah. But Jake, that's what I was going to say.
I would love if they're like leg injury, non-amputation.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to keep it, but it hurts.
They will not amputate. But Jake, I was going to say the same thing about Tanner. That's why he won't get traded this season. If it happens, it'll be next
%.
Yeah, because if anybody in the NFL knows how valuable a backup quarterback is,
it's the Eagles,
the NFL, it's us. So Tanner's not going anywhere, and I love him, dude. I love him.
Also, this umpire sucks. I'm sorry, but Orion Kirkering has thrown what the umpire has called 8 straight balls. And I'm telling you, he has not thrown 8 straight balls.
They're showing on pitch cam that it's a strike.
They've called them 8 straight balls. They have not been. Anyway, no, Chris, I was going to mention that because everybody was like, oh, if a team calls you up right now, Jimmy Kemsky, fan of the podcast, great guy. He had a great tweet where he said, dead serious, team calls you up and offers you a 2 right now, I hang up. I don't even entertain the call. Like, a backup quarterback is a good backup quarterback. Like, if our backup quarterbacks were DRT and whoever. McCord. Yeah, somebody calls and offers you something for him, sure. Like, they're just guys. Somebody calls and offers you something for Tanner McKee, you got to be like, no, you're going to have to absolutely, like, we all have fantasy football, either a team that we really don't like the commissioner of, and we're like, yeah, if you want it, you're going to have to pony up. Or a player where we're just like, yeah, I kind of like this guy. Like, sure, anybody's available, but I'm going to need Bijan Robinson. I'm going to need Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow before I get rid of this guy. Like, it's going to have to be something like that because it's just, he's too valuable. He's too good of a backup quarterback to go out there and get rid of on a team that we have so many great positions and units that even if Jalen Hurts, God forbid, misses some time, you know,
he has. That's the thing. Over the last couple, he has. So, like, a concussion here, a thumb here, like, whatever, freak. I'm not saying he's injury prone, but to have that insurance policy is huge.
And the other thing to think about is we have so many draft picks. We don't need, they're going to have to give us a body.
Yeah.
They're not going to get away with, we'll give you a 5th round pick for them. We're trying to give those away. So it's like, it's not worth it for us right now.
I already got 20 of them.
Yeah, I know.
That's me. Are we at all, like, I know we're really worried about cornerback 2 and possibly now with Makuba going down about safety and everything. Does the fact that we have 13 draft picks heading into next year's draft give anybody any solace that we're like, hell, we can just get somebody in here.
Question is who? Yeah, like who? What's the options? Like people have thrown out Simmons like all over the place, right? What's the cost with him? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, throw away as many of those 5th and 6th round picks as you want.
I mean, I'd be interested in trading some of those now in a package for a legitimate professional corner.
Oh yeah,
that's just me. I had a buddy of mine talking to me. He's like, "Wow, Ja'Cory Bennett, is in the lead for your CB2. I see." Not in those. He didn't phrase it like that. Oh, I see. But we were just talking about it, and I was like, "Yeah, that's not a good thing."
No,
like if the guy that you just traded from the Raiders, and I'm watching this as I'm talking, and I'm just,
the lead is gone.
It's gone. Thanks, Blue.
But yeah, anyway, trade for a corner because we don't have one on the roster opposite Quignon currently.
Yeah, that's ugly. Okay, so here's a question for you: if it were to stay the same, we don't bring an outside body in, everybody's healthy. What's the Jesus Christ, the depth chart? There's the word.
I think that's going to vary, right? Won't that depend on like if you're playing like a Vikings or a Cowboys who have their best receivers in the slot? Move Coop to the slot.
Week one. What's your depth chart at quarterback?
We have no idea. It's been just a whole round table for the last ever since training camp started, right? I have no clue. Somebody's playing well, somebody's screwing up, right? It seems like Ringo has been, trending downwards over the course of camp. And other than that, who knows? There's like 4 or 5 different guys. I for one, would like to see Eli Ricks out there. Throw him out there, game situation. Let's see how he's developed. Let's see if we got a guy or not.
Well, I just asked ChatGPT who is going to be the cornerback 2 for the Philadelphia Eagles. They spit out a bunch of things of articles and depth charts. And I said, no. Chat, baby, who do you think is going to be the CB2 for the Philadelphia Eagles? And ChatGPT is saying, if I had to make a call right now, I'm going to lean towards Cooper DeJean being the second outside corner for the Philadelphia Eagles.
But then who's your nickel? I guess who's your 3? Who's your 3? Give me your 3. We know the 2. Who's the 3rd?
Adoree Jackson is what ChatGPT says.
I don't know.
No, I mean, I Mac McWilliams. Who knows? Like he's been getting a lot of first team reps from
the University of Central Florida.
Temple University.
Why are you rolling your eyes there, Coach? I thought you'd be hype about him.
Because when we were doing our draft shows on this podcast, I explained to everyone how UCF had the worst defense in the history of organized football last year. And then we draft UCF starting corner. So I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm happy, you guys. Yeah, somebody from my school. Again, the bar is in hell right now. The bar is so low for this CB2 position. We're talking Mac McWilliams, Ja'Cory Bennett, or the ghost of Adoree Jackson. It's not good.
I mean, is there a chance that Keeley doesn't make the 53?
Oof.
That's a
I feel like
question.
I'm serious.
He's been the only one that's publicly been playing poorly, right? We don't know a whole lot of the ins and outs and what the depth chart ultimately is going to look like. That is the one piece of information that we do have, is that Keeley Ringo is not doing well. Like, do I think we give him another chance? Do I think we shove him on a punt team or something? Sure.
But Sean, not that Keeley's been doing not well. Can any of you just give me a moment where you're like, man, that's a great play, Keeley? Or like something that stood out to where you're like, yep, this guy's got it because I saw this from him.
At Eagles Fever, Franklin Field 52 shared a video 2 years ago of a single snap where Keeley Ringo held a guy but wasn't called, and the quarterback threw the ball 5 yards over the guy's head, and Jalen Mills finger wagged, and they said, that's our future cornerback.
Yep. I'll search my Twitter. I mean, it's where I post all my Philly dogs, So I'm sure I posted something there.
If the Philly dog can't think of it off the top of his head,
that's a bad look. It's a bad look.
Yeah.
I'm searching your Twitter right now.
So am I. He had a fantastic outing on the day after Christmas of 2023. That was good. I remember that.
There you go.
Yeah. Damn. Remember when he drilled Cooper DeJean on that punt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
Coop was taking it.
Good hit.
Yeah, it was a good hit. Just the wrong team.
I mean, you shared one video where he defended a pass against the Patriots, the powerhouse offense of the Patriots.
I'm going to be honest. I tweeted, make Keely Ringo a starter. I've seen what I need to see after he laid out a Browns, I'm assuming, receiver. And coach commented, Christopher, ... No.
I was right.
You
also have, I'm convinced that Isaiah Rodgers and Keely Ringo just really don't want Cooper DeJean to take their spot on defense and have the video of them just laying him out.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at this tweeting stuff.
Yeah,
not bad.
Thanks.
Philly dog Keely Ringo saves the day.
Yeah,
what
some
game was that?
respect on Keely Ringo's name.
I think there's a legitimate shot that he doesn't make the 53.
I think he's elite as a gunner, but you can't just make the team as a gunner, man. Like, we don't have enough roster spots for that, baby.
Yeah, I mean, how important is that to us? And you have to take into the fact of, like, we've got to be one of the lower punting teams in the NFL. We're very aggressive on fourth down. We have one of the best offenses. Like, we're going to be one of the lesser punting teams. So if you're only making the team because you're a really good gunner.
Well, they're going to be returning more kickoffs this year with the change in the kickoff rules. So you got to think they're going to stick them on kickoff team.
Fair.
But again, I mean, how many corners are you keeping on this team? Like, we've got 6, 7 right now in camp. We're not going to keep all of them. You can keep 5 of them. We've got a dozen wideouts. I don't know.
I mean, are you counting Coop as one of them?
What's that?
DeJean's one of the corners out of the 7?
Yeah, yeah. I would think so. No,
I meant like
versus safety.
Oh, yeah, yes. I'm considering him a slot until further notice.
Yeah.
We were tied for 23rd in the league, Jake, for punts. We had 55 punts last season.
And that's 23rd least or most?
Least.
All right, so we punted more than that.
I don't. Now you're confusing me with all the doctor talk. We're 23 out of 32.
Yeah. Low.
Yeah, low. Good. It's good stuff, Jake.
Okay. Yeah, so we're in the bottom third of teams that punt. Anyway, the randomity. Let's go to Sean's random word of the week. Sean's made up word of the week. Sean, debut your August 19th made up word of the week. He had no idea we were doing this either, so he's really.
I don't know if I haven't just said it already.
This is the randomity of the Talkin' 215
of the podcast of the segment. Sorry, guys, I got nothing.
Fair.
That's a word.
But Jake, when you were talking about Keely and not making the roster, let's just say that he did make the 53, but obviously didn't win the corner spot, whatever. We're going into year, 3 of him, quote unquote, competing for a starting job and not winning it, whether it be Slay, whether it be, he wasn't even the next man up. Rodgers was up when Slay would go down after that. And now you're in a battle, no offense to the people that I'm going to name, but UCF's own 5th round pick, Mac McWilliams, and Adoree Journeyman Jackson. Like, if you can't win that battle, like, you could just say, hey, we saw Slay play the best he played last year. And I think we all agree it was, some of the best of Slay's career. I get it. You couldn't beat that out.
Yeah.
We won the Super Bowl. But, like, the year before that, when we were looking for a corner, and even when Slay goes down, you can't beat out Rodgers, who was just out of the, league for a year, suspended. And then now, like I said, Adoree Jackson and Mac McWilliams. If you can't beat them out, where's your confidence going to be if you make that 53 and you don't win it again?
I guess, that's a valid point because you obviously aren't very good. And I guess my point, my thought of this is, how badly are we looking at it now saying, like, man, why didn't we re-sign Isaiah Rodgers? I mean, he got $3.4 million. Like, that's not that much money. Right now, if you're telling me you can go out and get a starting corner for $3.5 million, we'd all be like, well, why the hell haven't we done it already? Like, it's just, why did we? Did Vic really say, no, I think we have a guy in-house. I think we have something in Ringo. I mean, who signed off on letting Isaiah Rodgers walk? Because he seemed to love it here. He seemed to have nothing but great things to say about everybody here. So it didn't seem like he was like, no, I just really want to go out and play somewhere else. He just won a damn Super Bowl. I'm sure he'd be interested in winning another one. So it seemed like it was really just an Eagles front office decision to say, no, we don't have your value at that. Or no, we think we can save a little money and go with a guy we already have in-house. And then how badly can they just judge things? Because we never saw anything. I mean, right when we were like, oh, Keely's going to be next in line, we were all like, ugh, that's not great.
I mean, I hope we want him to take charge of that, right? Like, as Eagles fans, we're like, yes, Keely earned that job, win that job. Because Vic Fangio just doesn't hand out positions, he doesn't care where you were drafted. Like, so if Fangio names him the starting corner, I'm like, okay, he earned it. But you don't see anything. You don't hear anything.
Do you think it's a factor of, I think that Howie might have a little greater love to players he drafts versus players he acquires for other teams? Because look who he let go. He let go of Rodgers, and he let go of Becton, who was reasonably cheap. And if you put those two players on the team is rock solid top to bottom. And neither of them cost a lot of money. I think he values he still has that home love kind of.
Let go of CJ GJ.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. I mean, all players that he, Sweat was the only one. And the ones he let go, we couldn't afford. The two big ones that were ours, Williams and Sweat. We weren't going to pay that kind of money. But the others were reasonable. And I don't know if that's a thing, but it seems like he seems to be a little bit easier to let go of players that he didn't pick or his staff didn't pick.
That's a great point.
I don't know if it's true. Again, I'm just speculating like everything else,
No, it's a great point. It's definitely something to think about. Because none of these guys, like you just said, if we have Becton and we have Rodgers, what's our big concern right now? Safety?
Maybe
safety.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, we saw some decent snaps from Tristan McCollum. We saw a lot more decent snaps from him than we saw from Keely. We're all a little bit excited about Sidney Brown, even though he's kind of been pretty throughout preseason. And then you see Makuba and you're like, all right, cool. Like, we have somebody that's at least going to be serviceable out there. So there really isn't that big of a concern right now. And I mean, I'm relatively high on Tyler Steen. I think he can earn that job and be a pretty serviceable offensive lineman there. But you have Becton and Rodgers on this team, and we're just sitting here counting. I mean, we are still counting down the days till week 1. But we're counting down days to week 1, and we're sitting here talking about, how many Pro Bowlers we're going to have on this team, which we're still going to talk about. Today's episode is brought to you by White Glove Car Wash. Man, it feels like we just never get a break. We go from salt and brine on the roads right into pollen season, and our car never seems to be as clean as we needed it to be. That's where White Glove steps in. They're offering unlimited car wash packages for as low as $20 a month. You can take your car in daily and make sure that it is shiny, squeaky clean like you always want it to be, and not have to worry about cleaning it yourself. And with the satisfaction guarantee, you will never have to worry about it being just right. With locations in Delaware, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, you are never too far from the glove. Family owned and operated for over 40 years, go out and support small businesses this year and support your car by giving it the best car wash possible. Just ask your phone to take you to White Glove Car Wash and be taken to the nearest location to you, and let them give you the best car wash you have ever experienced.
Jake, you mentioned what you and I used to say about that if Devontae Smith goes down, it's the worst receiving core.
Don't even say it.
What happens if Quinyon goes down? Tell me what your corner situation looks like if Quinyon goes down right now.
I'll tell you exactly what it looks like. Kerry Williams and Bradley Fletcher.
One of these guys got to step up and be somewhat serviceable.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we've got the pieces there to mask a guy that's not playing at an all-pro level.
Yeah.
You have to have one of these guys. There's somebody has to surprise us. Like I said, Eli Ricks has to step up. Mac McMillan has to be a guy. right? Adoree Jackson, the ghost of Adoree Jackson, has to have some life in him for a couple weeks here and there. Like, there's only but so much depth you're going to have, right? We are spoiled. It feels like going, well, what does our 6th and 7th cornerback look like?
Well,
what does our 5th wideout look like? Just in case
our damn second cornerback.
Well, there's only going to be somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to have to step up and be the next man up and be serviceable for a month or so while another guy's out. It happens. It's going to happen. There's going to be a step down. Somebody's going to have to step the hell up.
Well, here's the other thing. If you were an offensive coordinator facing the Eagles, would you ever throw Mitchell's way? He's going to be healthy the whole damn year. He's going to be the most bored guy on the team next to Jake, because they're never throwing his way with the trash on the other side. It's not going to happen. So that's why I don't worry about the injury.
That's a great point.
Thoracic outlet syndrome doctor calling Eagles cornerbacks trash.
No, only half of them. One is elite.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a good point though. Like it's scary when you talk about depth, like at certain positions. You're one injury away at a certain position from just like saying your prayers and crossing your fingers every time the quarterback drops back to pass, right? And you got to hope.
Mostly on the defensive side.
Well, yeah, but you got to hope that your defensive line continues trending in the upward direction. I think we saw Jalix Hunt, be night and day from how he was regular season and postseason, right? Same thing with Nolan Smith, night and day. They just flipped the switch. If you kind of get how they looked to begin the regular season, and then you get a guy like Q go down, I'm wondering, as good as Fangio is, that's tough to overcome.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if most of this just carousel almost of guys working at different positions is just preparing for just that.
Yeah.
Right. You got a guy who's been practicing that, working on the left side versus the right side, working in the nickel position versus outside, right? Just that position versatility, right?
And the other huge difference between last year is you've got Campbell out there, and that guy's a beast. You could put him anywhere. You could put him defensive end. You could put him anywhere, and he's all over the place.
Yeah.
And he's like not.
You may have to. Because while we're all talking about this, I'm sitting here thinking we're a Nolan Smith or a Jalix Hunt injury away from relying entirely on our tackles.
Right.
Mm-hmm. From getting no pressure on the outside.
We keep doing this, but now I don't even want to do we're a Jalen Carter injury away from what's that?
Oh, good Lord. Yeah.
Yeah. Like? I was thinking about the O-line too. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously we have depth, but like I feel like it's less about the depth. And like, hey, we should trade for O-line. Like, God forbid, Mailata or Lane Johnson go down. Coach, you said it earlier. It's like no, there's no replacing a Mailata or a Lane Johnson. Like that's the rub. Is no matter who you put behind them, they're never gonna this year reach that level of talent. It just
how many strikes? How many strikes can we throw that are called balls? Like, where do we need to put the damn ball?
What did you just see? So I know where you're at.
Yeah.
The first pitch to J.P. Crawford. The first pitch from Robertson to Crawford.
I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah, I can tell you how it goes. It's a ball. It's called a ball.
Would it kill JT to hold the thing there for a sec?
JT's so bad at framing. We're talking all down because obviously starting next week we really ramp up the Eagles talk, and it's going to be unbearable how positive we are. And so we have one reason to complain.
Yeah.
Someone called out the 40
I
to
saw
6
that.
here. Oh, thank you, Doc. Appreciate that.
That's the real score.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Glad
Doc spent a whole 30 seconds on that. Glad. Want to make sure it made the air.
Hell yeah. Any thoughts, gentlemen, before we start wrapping it up?
Wheeler going down. Let's hope that we could turn it into like when Wentz went down, just kind of like we're gonna rally around Nick Foles and we're gonna play good baseball type stuff. And
who are we rallying around though? Who are we? Listen, and we are far too deep into the episode to bring up this question, but like, who are you rolling out?
No, I know, Sean, I get it. I'm just hoping that
we switched over to Eagles, and I was like,
let this be the battle cry, I guess. Let this be the reason. The reason for
we got time. Who's your three?
I wanted to hear your guys' thoughts. I wanted to hear what you guys thought about rolling Taiwan out there.
You have to right now. Right now it's Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, Taiwan Walker.
Those are your guys.
Hold on, say that again.
Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, Taiwan Walker.
Do you throw a Ranger in the pen? Do you keep Luzardo in? What do you do with Luzardo?
You can't put Luzardo in there. It seems like every team that has a competent hitter just tees off.
He's got to play at night, right?
72 degrees, blowing northeast.
Taiwan's got to play at home. Luzardo's got to play at night. Christopher Sanchez can play anywhere, any place.
I think it's just like the Alvarado thing, right? Because you say, man, can you imagine going from Alvarado to Duran, 8th and then 9th inning? How nasty that would be. And now you're saying, man, can you imagine a team that has to go Wheeler, Sanchez back to back, and you're like, man, that's amazing, and you get robbed of it, right? And so we're like, it's such a buzz.
Man, we don't want to talk about this anymore.
We don't know what playoff Taiwan looks like, all right? He was left off the squad last year, didn't quite make the postseason team. We don't know. This could be a meme, you know. This guy could turn it on.
We've seen bad Taiwan though.
But we were watching.
He's been one of the most consistent pitchers this season.
And hats off to him this year. I think he's turned it around incredibly, and Nola just went the other way, right? Like
Nola, what do we do with Nola? Nola's got like 5 starts to figure it out, right?
Yeah. His ERA is like almost at 7, guys.
Listen, because Thompson is going to roll him out for like game. He might even be game 1.
Wow,
right? I mean, just the affinity he's had for him in the past. Like he's got to figure this shit out. If he does, then we'll be all right. If he does not, then we are going to get our shit wrecked, right? Because Thompson is loyal to Nola, far more than he should be. He's going to like live by the sword and die by the sword. So
Sean, you want to go?
Absolutely not, right? And whether or not he is different than whether or not he should be.
You're okay going Nola to Romano in a playoff?
I'm not okay. I'm not okay with any of this.
How is Romano still on our team?
Didn't we DFA Kimbrel at this point last year because he was so bad?
2 years ago. But
there's a trivia question for you.
2 years ago.
Who has a worse ERA, Nola or Romano? Or who has a worse?
Well, Sean posted Romano's ERA month by month. It's insane.
Wasn't one of them like 15 or 16?
He had a 2.0 or a 2.4 in the month of May.
Yeah.
All right.
He had a 2.5.
What about August?
We don't talk about August is still ongoing.
Uh-oh.
What's up?
Everybody?
Yeah. What's
give
up?
Give it 30 seconds.
I'll let you know in a second.
The app updated.
I just saw Bryce got a single.
YouTube TV is going to take another 3
got ways to go, pal.
Yeah, Bryce is clapping.
Wow.
Good stuff.
That's your 4-hitter.
Jason Taylor Johnson, Real Muto.
That's your 4-hitter right there.
That was a fucking rope. He
Coach
just hit a
is
home
still
run.
waiting.
James Tyler.
Guys, just so we know.
Hey, do you guys know the JT just homered?
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, no, it's great to see JT having the second half to the season that he's having now. Because I mean, we were ripping on him pretty hard, deservedly so. He was bad last year and the first half of this year, and he's been great.
I think he has the second highest batting average on the Phillies.
He's been breaking.
Yeah, no, he's only adding to it today. He's got 3 hits today. JT is sitting currently a batting average of 278.
Damn.
Alec Boehm is second highest at 280.
And Trey's close to 300, I think, right?
Trey's 295.
All right, boys, let's get hot. Let's get hot here. Come on.
Somehow Castellanos still 255.
Did Casty homer today? I missed
Casty. No, Casty has he is 0 for
nice
3.
Today's the 4-year anniversary of
I'm gonna never put this head down on again in my life.
What?
I may never put this headset on.
Yes, that one.
That moment created so many memes, though. Like,
dude.
There's a deep
Every
to the left by Nick.
I tweet that so often. Like if I tweet some shit that like really sparks some controversy, like I'm sorry everybody, this is not who I am. I'm a man of faith. And
I see it all the time. I see you do it all the time.
All the time. It is hilarious. I have this script like saved on my notes app. I just get it ready to go.
Oh man, I can't imagine how many other doctors that don't work for Delaware Orthopedic that just have to say that to their patients. I mean, why wouldn't you go? It's the only fellowship trained surgery center in the state of Delaware. And you go somewhere else and you're in here. You know, I pride myself in being a man of faith, but meanwhile, you know, you get done with a surgery from Dr. Mesa and it's just bedlam at the bank.
That's right. Slam that scalpel down.
Oh, big bone guy.
Yeah.
2 inches foul. Final thoughts, gentlemen?
If Eagles fans want Christmas in August, watch the last episode of The Kingdom on Disney Plus, or soon to be on ESPN. It is the best present you'll get, and it'll get you ready for the season.
Yeah, I'll go. Put some respect on Keely Ringo's name.
Ringo saves the day. Another Philly dog saves the day.
Stay on brand.
Nice.
Final thought. Stop playing on playoff Taiwan, baby.
Coach?
Final thought. First one of the year. It'll be my first fuck the Cowboys.
There we go. There we go.
First of many, baby.
Final thought. Starting to warm up on the Phils a little more than it was before. Ari's feeling them. They might be a World Series team. I don't know. They might do it.